Hello and welcome to Rise and Shine. I am Alissa, your consultress and hostess, here bringing you conversations from the front lines of innovation. We live in the age of disruption, ladies and gents. So I have the privilege and the honor to have wonderful conversations with amazing human beings day in and day out in my business and in my life. And it is my privilege to bring them here to you to have a little slice of that which is emerging so that you too can pivot and play in this world where there is no such thing as normal anymore. It's new, whatever you're creating. So today with me, I have Miss Coach Juli Shulem. Welcome, love. It is a pleasure to have you here today.
Oh, thank you so much. It's so good to be here. This is fun.
Yeah. So we were in pre-production and just happened to be listening to show tunes and figured out that back in our previous lives, we were both in middle school in the play performing in Greece. So we'd just like to start with that creativity and focus. Cheers. So Juli, we met once upon a networking virtual group, and it was fast friends. We figured out we were connected beyond that and had friends in different spaces. So, I've gotten the opportunity to learn more about you. So tell us who you are and what you're passionate about in this wide world of ours.
Well, thank you. And this has been really cool getting to know you and a friend from far. Someday we might actually be in the same space at the same time. Who knows?
Right on.
But, I have had so many different, I'd say, passions and directions in my life, and I kind of live by the theory or the mindset. Do everything I want to do. Why
do
not?
It all. Who's saying no?
Who's saying no? No regrets is kind of my thought process. And when I was younger, I was so stuck trying to figure out, what am I going to do? I like to do so many things. So I kind of do them all in succession. And I love doing all the things that I do, which is why I do them. But I've always been very creative. So I actually have an art degree, which a lot of people don't know.
Well, now we know.
Now you do. Now you know. I actually started as a medical illustrator. So it's very unique and different and unusual kind of direction for an artist. That I was pre-med and studio art simultaneously. That's what I was doing. And so I'm very creative. I was also into dance, hence being in Greece. I was always dancing since I was 6 years old. I was dancing, and I was going to be a famous dancer. That did not happen, but I still been dancing for my entire life. And
are you the same person at a wedding who, like, when the music starts, you're like, oh my God, I have to go? My husband, my husband's always like, do you have to go up the second they open the dance floor? I'm like, yes.
That's what I've been waiting for all night, of course.
That's why we're here.
And I try to figure out, is there anybody else in the room that can dance?
Right.
Because it's not just free motion, freestyling anymore. It's more set kinds of dancing. So it's kind of fun if I can find someone who can also dance. But
and that's where we will meet. Just saying, when we meet in person, that will be the place, because I'm like that secretary from the movie Grease. When I hear music, I can't make my feet behave. So, it sounds like we're birds of a feather there.
Yep. But I've just always been dancing, and I used to sing a whole bunch of years ago, but no, we do not want to go there. So I just enjoy all of that. And in terms of my work, my life, I'm very, very passionate about helping people to become better organized and more productive in their lives. And my entire career, if you will, has been all in that space, because I like order. I like structure, because then it opens up time and freedom and bandwidth to do all those fun creative things.
Yep.
So, you can have everything kind of jiving at the same time. So
yep.
That's what I enjoy doing, and I like helping people who feel stuck.
Mhm.
like they can't really have all the things that they want. I said, yeah, you can. You
Yeah.
can. Be that.
Yeah, because I live that, right? When you're a
Yeah.
product of your work, it's like, absolutely, you can do that. Here, let me show you. You know,
Yes. Yes.
I love what you said about creating the organization so that you can play more, so that you can do more. I had a client who was a tech owner in New York City who said to me once, he's like, I am the most productive lazy man you'll ever meet, because I set up the systems because I'm lazy. I don't want to do it anymore. So I automate
Yeah.
stuff so that I don't have to, plug and play and like do the thing, crank the crank or whatever.
Yeah. But
So tell me about your structures and how your organization helps people.
well, okay, let me back up and give you the pre-story. So I started as a professional organizer before the National Association even existed. So I've been doing this really, really long time. And I'm not going to say how long because then it's going to date me. But let's just say I was one of the original Golden Circle members of the National Association of Professional Organizers. This has been part of me for my life for a long time. And it was because when I was younger, I was always creating systems, organizing. Okay, how am I going to manage my time? How am I going to get these projects done? How am I going to set this thing up, whatever it is?
Mhm.
And I like putting things together. I used to say I like solving for X. I was a math major. So I was like, okay, I always, everything fits together so nicely. And then there's no stress. It just relieves such stress and anxiety when things are orderly. So I started in that world, and I was organizing all kinds of companies, from huge organizations to dental offices, every and everywhere in between. So I love putting systems in place. I like creating order from chaos.
Oh, I
It's
love that.
so right. Oh, it just feels so good to have everything in its place. And you want to find something, you know exactly where it is. You can find it in seconds versus spending an hour, looking for something and finding, oh, it's not even in this room. Well, darn. Now,
Mm-hmm.
so because I realized that people were so stressed out a lot of times because of the disorder. And it wasn't just in their physical space, which was a big part of it, but it was also just in their world, in their lives. So I realized, well, this is no way to live. And I can fix this. I can help people with this. So I did it. And that's what I've been doing my entire career. I
I
even
have
created a course around it.
oh, I have a testimonial to that way of thinking. I have like a kindred story about people being stressed out, and in the disorganization, it just creates a cacophony of bad feelings, bad experiences, and turmoil for people. And it's very timely that this episode is airing on Monday, September 27th, September 25th. That is today is the Jewish holiday Yom Kippur, and they break fast in the Jewish tradition at sunset. I grew up in a family business in bagels, and every year during Yom Kippur, and I built a system over like a 20-year period trying to solve for all of these disorganized swirls and eddies that left management, customers, employees, and owners feeling just depleted. After the holiday, we all felt like we needed a week-long nap. And I am a people person. I need for people to feel good and to have great experiences. So, I love what you said about creating the structure so that people can feel good and have a better experience. It's bittersweet because this is the first year that I'm not in the family business. A year ago, the business was sold. So I used to make the annual pilgrimage back into the business, do the setup and then the production and the distribution for all of the customers to get their food on platters so they can go home and eat. But it's amazing what a little bit of structure, compassion, and planning can do. By the time we were, I think it was 10 years into like figuring out we needed to do pre-planning, we needed to do debriefing and set up systems that could repeat year over year. we started getting rave reviews, and we started getting more business than we could handle. And, you
Mm.
know, my father, instead of being the grouchy guy that, you know, jumped into the business because he was not the manager at the time, you know, he was grumpy with all of this stuff, feeling like he needed to recreate the wheel every year. But we figured out a way to make it happy. And it felt like love to me. You know, my dad was happy. My uncle, the manager, was happy. All the employees that like I had bonded with over the years working in the family business since 14, you know, everybody started to feel better. And for me, it was the genesis of my strategic business structuring that I do now. You know, I'm in real estate and I love talking shop, but it's just that it's that very same principle of like, do you know what you're looking at? Do you know where you want to go? And then where's the mess that's in the way? Let's clean that up.
Yes.
So, you know, the world needs you, Jewel. So, oh, thank God. Anyway, so you just saw me trip down memory lane. So talk to me about your course that you built that helps people kind of have that experience of a more pleasurable life based on systems, organization, and structure.
Yeah, and really that was the whole reason I decided to put the course together. I wanted to leave something, you know, that tangible that people can actually utilize and help their situation. It's so the course is called Your Life Productive. Finally, actually the name, and the website is YourLifeProductive.com, and it's the culmination of my over 3 decades of organizing people and their worlds. And it's an on-demand program, 6 modules. You can actually do the whole program if you wished in 6 hours roughly, but I recommend kind of spacing it out and actually implementing the techniques that are presented in it. It's doable by anybody. And I really break it down to very, very manageable, easy to implement steps, because I can't see everybody. Yeah. I'd love to. So this way it's an opportunity for people to be able to learn how to get organized. And it's all the way from, you know, how to deal with all the paper pileup you might have, and clearing out clutter. So I actually give you the process of how to go through clearing out clutter once and for all correctly, so it doesn't come back. And then all the way into task management, how to use a calendar properly, project management, the whole thing. It's basically, yeah, your life productive.
Finally.
So I worked really hard on putting that together and bringing it down to a real easy to digest process, so that it's not a big burden. I don't want to add another thing yet on someone's list to be worried about.
Yeah.
So just to make life easier.
Yeah. And I do find there's a lot of folks out there who are right now, like, if you notice, like, since, you know, COVID happened, everyone's online. Everybody's taking courses. Everybody's doing all these things. I've had friends who said, oh my God, in the last 3 years, I got like 15 certifications. What? Yeah. How are you putting that in your business? And they're like, actually, I figured out I really only need 2. But you know, when you have a course that can help you implement, I think that is so super valuable, because I think a lot of people are out there, like, outside of themselves, learning, what can I do? How can I be? But sometimes the courses leave you bereft of actual tactics. How do I implement and integrate this into my life in an easy way? Because if you don't make it easy and you don't make it simple for people, you give them a lot of head trash, and then they walk around feeling bad about themselves because they can't do the thing that you said.
That's 100% correct. And that's why I designed it so that it is something you can easily implement. And I actually say, okay, do this, pause here, come back when you've done that.
Yes.
Now that you're there, good. Here's, and I have a little manual that comes with it. Here's the form. Take this, copy this. Now I'm going to show you exactly how to use it. And I go step by step. There's not a lot of thinking required. Just follow.
Oh, it feels like to me, if you ever my kid had an assignment last year that was like, write instructions on how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And you think, like, get bread, put peanut butter and jelly on it and eat, right?
Yeah.
No. The object of this assignment was not the broad brushstrokes, because they're like, oh, get bread, put the peanut butter, jelly, eat. And I got, and you have to painstakingly go through, untie the twisty tie on the bag of bread.
Oh my God.
Lift out 2 pieces and put them on a plate from the cupboard. Then you need a knife so that you can dip it into the peanut. You know what I mean? So like actually the step-by-step process that
In what order do you do that in? Do you put the peanut butter first? Do you put the jelly first? Yeah, these are all things.
I mean, obviously peanut butter. It's better when there's no jelly on the bread. Anyway, that's personal.
You have to do that first to know.
Yeah. And here's the thing, like laying steps out for people when you have mastery is sometimes really difficult. I find a lot of professionals out there who are really great at what they do, but they have a hard time explaining it to people who are not in that zone or in that world. So that's, I think we have kind of zeroed in on what might be the Achilles heel of course building, is that you just, the step-by-step nature is absolutely crucial. And unless you have some iterations of teaching it to people and talking to folks about it and figuring out where you're glossing over and where you might need to get more granular. Patty Aubrey says, I see all these people out there building courses, but have they ever taught the thing that they're inspired to bring forward into the world? And, you have to really beta test that communication. I think that's huge. And, having 30 years experience of day in and day out doing what you've done, I think it qualifies you supremely to have all of the little tiny steps that seem like one broad stroke for an expert, but for someone who's struggling, they're absolutely necessary. And I think they're very, like, it feels like love. It feels like that is the help that they are wanting.
And that's exactly why I did it, was because I have been teaching it. I've been speaking about it for over 3 decades. And I break it down into the bite-sized pieces or baby steps so it can be understood by anybody. Pretty much. It's so it really, that's why I say it's the culmination of all of my work. It's not like, oh, I wanted to come up with a class. Let's do this. It took me almost 2 years to script it, to get it that easy to understand, to make it that simple. Kind of like an Apple computer. You don't have to be a programmer to open up a box, turn on your computer, and bam, you get to start, because it's that sophisticated, that it's that easy.
Oh, I love it. Coach Juli, the Apple computers of the organizing world. Beautiful, brilliant. I'm so happy to have you here. And I invite you to come back again and talk with us some more. But for the time being, we want to leave folks with a little bit of pep in their step and the possibility of improving their life. So where can people find you?
Super easy to find me. If you just Google my name, Juli Shulem, Juli is spelled Juli, I will show up everywhere. I'm the only person with this name on the internet, I found out. And it's kind of weird, but you can find me at my website. Easiest place to get in touch with me. All my contact information is right there. It's coachjuli.com. You can also find me on LinkedIn, and I have a Facebook page as well. So I'm pretty easy to get a hold of.
Right on. Right, exactly. Do you know there's only one consultress on the planet? So oh yeah. So it's everywhere. You can find me socials. My website is The Consultress. But I love that Coach Juli with an I, because that to me, like my name is Alissa. I've always got to spell it out for people. So we started this conversation as buddies in the 8th grade, and now we're leaving this conversation with my name spelled with an I, because I and you are birds of a feather. Thank you so much for being here. It has been an awesome and fun conversation. Cheers to you. Thanks a million. And we will see you all on the other side next Monday broadcast. Make sure you subscribe, thumbs up, click like, and as my dad said, give us a thumbs up on Yelp. No, Dad, that's not where people do that at. So please subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get notifications every Monday, 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. We'll see you next time. Ciao for now.